Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus Impact's Slammiversary 2021. Yes, I know I worked a wrestling show last night, and I was in a hotel room and all that kind of good stuff, but thanks to the wonders of modern technology and a website that a good friend hooked me up with, I managed to watch Slammiversary this morning early so I could give you this report. It's an important show. It is their biggest show of the year. They had crowd back, all very exciting. And at first, I have to admit something. I thought I was going to nitpick the order of the matches. But in retrospect, I think I was wrong, and I think they laid things out in the best way possible. And to those that want to try to claim that Kenny Omega is not great, all I can say is that main event was absolutely smashingly good. And let's just jump into it. So we opened with the women's tag titles as Fire and Flava, the champions, who have proved to be very proficient. I think very good. Lost to Havoc and Rosemary in the Let's Start This Off Happy. I thought that, well, okay. We'll talk about what I thought, starting with the second match more. This match was fine, and the crowd was way into Decay, and so it was a great way to open the show. They were excited. Havoc basically took it home for them, took a beating, but then ended up basically winning it just about single handedly there at the end. Cool. So the Ultimate X for the X Division Championship. This is the match that I thought that they should have moved to later because it was a barn burner. It was fucking fantastic. But you know what I learned last night at the IWE show is that taking that second match, which traditionally has been sort of a placeholder spot, and actually elevating what happens off of the first match and escalating it has a very great effect on the crowd. And with modern audiences, it really kickstarts their energy that then you are challenged to maintain, but it's very possible. So I take it back. I think it was this match was in the right spot. I absolutely fucking loved this match. This match had my full undivided attention. I gotta go with the people who've been saying Chris Bay is a star. That guy is fantastic. But everybody in this match was very good. Even Petey Williams, seeing him uncorking those Canadian destroyers on a couple of people, and then giving one to Bay, who was on the shoulders of Alexander, was really stunning. I was secretly hoping, as much as I love Bay, that Alexander would retain because I thought it was the right move of having this guy who won an Iron Man match to retain it to also win an Ultimate X match, and he did. And so, secretly, just I was happy as somebody who's just such a fan of Alexander and what they've done, and who he is. But the X Division was just so freaking great. The mixed tag. I thought would be the match that I would enjoy the least, but I was wrong. Matt Cardona's partner was the hot mess Chelsea Green, who I'm a fan of. I don't know. There's something about I just like the cut of her jib. And this match worked for me. It wasn't anything spectacular. It was relatively short and it got the point across. And I would call this the palate cleanser match of the pay per view that helped it keep flowing. And I'm a big fan of the palate cleanser. If you're not sure what that is, please listen to me on the reg and I will explain at some other point. And yeah, good for Green. I thought it was a good exhibition. Eddie Edwards versus W. Morrissey. I thought this was one of those classic. The finish protects Eddie Edwards somewhat while establishing Morrissey because Morrissey, you wanted him to remain undefeated, and using a chain to win, especially in the context at which they used it, I thought was a great thing. Where it protected Eddie as much as you can protect him in a loss, and Morrissey gets the win. But now we see not only is he bigger, stronger, tougher than everybody, he's willing to cheat as well, which is one of those things I hated about Michael Jordan. Don't get me started on that. All right. This match was kind of more of a plodding pace at the beginning. I use that word plodding only because it's impact, and if a match isn't like instantly hitting the gas and going into fifth gear, it feels plodding. It's a good match for its position on the card, and those guys by the end really brought it around. We had another palate cleanser match because Finn Juice came back to take on the complaining Shira and Madman Fulton, and it was relatively short work, and they hit that Dudley dog from Finlay to Shira. It was what it was, and this definitely gave us some energy going into the big matches of the show. Chris Sabin and Moose. Um, um, it was fine. I was surprised that Sabin won. I hated that he won with a roll up, but at least they kept it to the just this one. And I get that he wins with a roll up because you don't want Moose getting pinned. I totally get that. So it was fine. I was not into the match, but I thought it was a well executed match that regular fans of Impact probably enjoyed a great deal. Then this card to me hit a snag. That was the Fatal 4-Way for the Impact Tag Championships, right? Violent by Design, Swan and Mac, Fala with a mystery partner who ended up being No Way Jose, and the Good Brothers. I just didn't think this thing worked. The Good Brothers did win with the Magic Killer, um, and uh, and they pinned the champions to do it to make them look strong. Um, that they didn't do the old, oh, we're pinning one of the ramshackle teams, so the champions never really lost it. No, 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 no. I don't. The Good Brothers winning based on star power and the fact that they played ball so much and they're part of the elite, which is right now the biggest thing going amongst many promotions. I get all that. Um, I get all that. So maybe they're going to split Rhino off from the Violent by Design group. I don't really know about that. I just know that this is a match that felt like it didn't work after two matches that felt okay. Um, and it's definitely not how they wanted to go into things. I will say, however, the last two matches really delivered the goods. Though, okay, let's talk about Deonna Purrazzo. I have to admit something. I was not on board the Deonna Purrazzo train. I did not see this thing where everybody else saw, or a lot of other people saw, where they were like, "She's so great, she's so talented." I take it back. She's phenomenal in this. Having Thunder Rosa as the surprise, her surprise contender was amazing. It further gave this feel of like, oh my gosh, like a whole bunch of groups are working together. I think the world of Thunder Rosa. I just think she's so talented. And so Purrazzo escaped her Thunder Driver of Thunder Rosa that's been established as a finisher. And she abandoned the submission attempts, I think, which is smart because we've established that Thunder Rosa's submission master. And she hit the Queen's Gambit pile driver for the win. And then Mickey James came out and invited Purrazzo to appear as part of the NWA All Women's show, Empower. Um, So she scoffs at this though and insults James, and then former Knockouts champion Mickey James stood tall to close things out. Um, I will say that the end of this match felt very rushed. I guess they had a time constraint, and surely one of the other matches could have taken a sacrifice time wise to not make these two rush because I thought the match was really good. That said, they allowed plenty of time for Sami Callihan and Kenny Omega, and it's great that they did. It was a fantastic match. I think it's the first. I mean, I don't grade these things, but it was the first near perfect match, A plus kind of match that I have seen Impact do in a really long time. So Kenny Omega wins, and then they are confronted by, I mean, it's just super cool, right? They're standing there in victory, they're happy, and then Jay White, who's the leader of the Bullet Club right now. So he's looking at that collection of belts, and then they're trying to get him to do a too sweet with them, and he refuses. Super cool stuff. Super cool for Slammiversary. Um, a card that I would have loved to be better. It not every match was hitting, and it went dead in the middle there. But the two title matches between the Knockouts and then Kenny Omega especially and Sami Callihan absolutely delivered. And then a few good things happened in the beginning. And the matches, if I'm being honest, here's the matches I needed to deliver was the main event, which happened, that Ultimate X match, which absolutely happened, and then I wanted the women to be involved in a great match, and they were in the Knockouts title match. Um, Although, again, let's not do a thing where it feels like we're clipping one of the matches for time, because that is a killer. That is a killer. But other than that, Slammiversary, very proud, very glad I saw it, and let me get this bad boy up.